Dear students, hope you are all well. So, students, in the last class, we learnt about how Shivaji Maharaj had implemented the policy of administration and asked the Council of Ministers to look after the 8 different departments that would help and provided safety to the people living in the kingdom, and we have studied about the policies that have been implemented by Shivaji Maharaj to provide a help to the peasants and farmers. Now let us move further with this chapter. In this part, we are going to see some more points, that is, village economy of that period, trade and business, and the military organization. So let's begin. Now, you know that agriculture was the primary occupation at that time, and it was the backbone of the rural economy. So, in the villages, many other occupations were also developed to supplement agriculture. That means to help agriculture, not only people involved themselves in agriculture occupation, but some other occupation also they were working in. Okay? So artisans, as you can see in the picture, so artisans in the village produced goods and fulfilled the needs of the local people. Now, as per the requirements, goods were being produced in village by different artisans. So, in this sense, a village was a self-sufficient unit wherein they would get each and everything in their village itself. So the demand were being fulfilled by the people of the village who were either in the farming work or they were involved in the artisan work. So, farmers gave a definite share from their produce to artisans at that time. That means money was not being exchanged in the goods. So, how now we go to the shop today and if we want to buy a thing, then we give money and purchase a thing. But at that time, this policy was not being implemented. What people used to do is they used to exchange the things along with each other. So, if the farmer wanted certain thing, he would go to the artisan and in return, farmer would give some of the share of his crops and in return, he would take a thing. So they used to exchange their things. Okay. Whatever required from the artisan. So this share was called a system of baluta. Okay, that means sharing each other's thing rather than sharing money. Okay, let's move forward. Next is trade and business. So Shivaji Maharaj knew that the kingdom could not prosper without an increase in trade. That means a kingdom, a villages cannot help themselves in a particular field. They need to prosper. And how it is possible with the help of trading and increase in business. So merchants in the villages, in the kingdoms bring novel goods which were useful and were in a certain necessities helpful to the kingdom. So goods became available in plenty and in return traders started prospering and it started adding wealth to the kingdom. The view that Shivaji Maharaj took of merchants is seen in the Agnyapatra, where merchants were described as merchants are the ornaments of the kingdom and the glory of the king. Now, what does this mean? This means that merchants had played an important role in the upliftment of the kingdom. By what? By providing different types of trade as well as by providing goods that were required in the kingdom. Okay, let's move forward. So, what was Shivaji Maharaj's policy? Let us look at that. Shivaji Maharaj policy was to protect industries. So, an excellent example of this is the salt industry, okay, that he had captured in the Surat region. He protected the salt industry in Konkan as well. And at that time, what traders used to do? They used to import salt. Okay, they used to import salt from the Portuguese territory and sold in Swaraj. Okay, in the kingdom of Swaraj. So this had affected the local traders in Konkan areas. Why? The Portuguese used to import salt. So what happened is that this affected the local traders. The local traders mean the traders who were in the kingdom of Swaraj. So then after that, so what was the reason? That salt was being imported and it was being sold in Swaraj. So it had a great impact in the Konkan regions. Okay, it had a great impact because they also used to import their salt. So people were not buying their salt. So it had a great impact in the Konkan regions. Now let us see further. So here Shivaji Maharaj had thought with a policy, and he had thought that he would charge heavy duty on the salt that was being imported into Swaraj. That means the Portuguese were importing salt. So what he thought of a plan? That he would charge heavy duty on the salt from the Portuguese territory. The only purpose was that his only intention was that so that the salt that was imported from the Portuguese territory would then cost more, and ultimately what would be the result? Its import would decrease and the salt of the local traders. So then people would buy from the local traders. The sale of these local traders, they were selling the salt, would increase in demand, right? Their sale would increase in demand and it would help for the taxation as well as for the welfare of the people who were working or importing the salts. Okay, let's move forward. Now, next is the military organization. Okay, so there were two main divisions of the army of Shivaji Maharaj, and in that there were infantry and cavalry. So, first we are going to see what is infantry. So, in the infantry, there were officers such as Havaldar, Jumledar, and many more. So, the chief of the infantry was called Sarnobat, and he was the highest officer in the infantry who would look after the work of the army in infantry. Let's move forward. Now we have seen that what is an infantry and how it is. Now the next one is cavalry. Now two types of cavalry men were there. So they were Shiledars and they were Bargirs. So what was the work of Shiledar? The Shiledars were the one who were having their own horses and own weapons. Okay? And the Bargirs were the one who were being provided with the horse and weapons by the state. And they were more in number. Why? Because they were being provided by the state. So they were more in number as compared to the Shiledars. Okay, let's move forward. Now the ranks. Okay, the ranks of the cavalry officers were similar to those of the infantry officers. That means both infantry and cavalry were having the similar number of officers. And the highest officer in the cavalry was the Sarnobat. That means in infantry also the highest officer was the Sarnobat. And in cavalry also it was Sarnobat. Then Netaji Palkar, Prataprao Gujjar, Hambirao Mohite, these were some of the famous Sarnobats of the cavalry. So these were the highest officers appointed by whom? By Shivaji Maharaj in the cavalry department of army. Okay, let's move forward. Then the next point is the intelligence department. Now the intelligence word, we all are aware what its meaning is. That is, the department or the person is working very sharply, precisely, and is focused to think and work in a proper manner. So the same thing, Shivaji Maharaj had appointed an intelligence department who would look after the protection of the Swaraj. That means from enemies, that means the department need to provide each and every permission, precise and timely information about the movements of the enemy, whatever it may be. Okay, so this all information was being provided by the intelligence department. It was the duty of the intelligence department to look after all this work and submit it to Shivaji Maharaj. Okay. Then in the previous slides, we have seen that the military organization and its work, right? We've seen about this point, right? The highest officers and the duties allotted to them by Shivaji Maharaj. Everyone was efficient and capable. Now, all these officers are very efficient and hardworking, right? In the same way, the intelligence department, its service that was being provided was very efficient. So the head was Bahirji Nayak. He was the head of the intelligence department. He was very skilled person and he was very precise in his duties. He needed to be very accurate and provide detailed information about any of the attacks of the enemies. Okay, so this information about Surat was correct before the raid on Surat. So the intelligence department was also very capable, who would help Shivaji Maharaj to protect his kingdom from the enemy's attack. So who was the person who was the head in the intelligence department? Bahirji Nayak. He was very skilled in his job. Okay, let's move forward. That is your homework. The first question is, Dash was the head of the intelligence department. The next is, the chief of the infantry was called Dash. And the last one is, who were the famous Sarnobats in Shivaji Maharaj's cavalry? That's all for now. We will continue with this chapter in the next video. Thank you for listening, children. Goodbye. Take care.